Hello guys, very good evening all. Welcome back and let's start. So in the last session, I discussed about the AWS. What is AWS? Not how you have to learn the cloud and what are the different certifications that you have to do as a developer. What are the certifications that you have to do? These are the things that we have discussed in the last session. So now in this session, what we are going to do here is I will just explain you about the cloud computing. What is a cloud and how we are going to configure a cloud and what exactly is cloud. Before I diving into cloud and all the things, first of all, I want to ask you one question. You are so much experienced and you are there from in the industry from past 10 to 15 years, right? So my first question here is, nowadays we are talking about the cloud. From when we are talking about the cloud, can anybody guess and tell me the answer once? Especially in India, I'm not talking about US and UK. Of course, you can tell me about US and UK also. From when we are talking about cloud? Any guesses? Any guesses?
Around 2010.
2010, we are talking about the cloud from 2010. Any another
It
answer?
started booming from that time.
Of course, it started from 2006 itself. Amazon AWS was started in 2006. Okay, Amazon Web Services itself is started in 2006. But when it has become as a booming technology. Now, if you see Java,
Around 2012, 13.
exactly.
From that.
So from 2014 onwards, especially whenever I am thinking of like when I gave the presentations and seminars on cloud, I started giving seminars from 2014. So what is a cloud and how we are going to configure the cloud and all the things. And from 2016, it is becoming a popular technology in India, especially in India, AWS or Azure. But from whenever the pandemic was attacked, when the pandemic was there, so then it has started. So in the pandemic time, everyone are habituated for internet and everyone are accessing the data. Everyone are not going to the offices. There are so many employees who are doing the work from home. And at that time, so accessing the servers has been denied for the users, some of the users. So it has been a very hectic problem for the infra team. So then this word called as cloud has become a booming technology. It has been increased or else it has been into the what I can say into the IT industry. Now the point is, now before 2014 or else as you are saying before 2010, let us suppose think your terminology or else your conception is right. Before 2010, what we used to have, did anybody have any idea? So cloud, you are saying that the cloud is coming from, we are having the cloud from 2010. But before 2010, what we used to have then? To access a website, what we used to have?
On-premise environment.
On-prem environment, very good. So on-prem environment. Can anybody add anything else to this? Did anybody wants to add something to this particular statement? Before 2010 or else before cloud was there, we used to have the on-prem environment.
Data
Will you
center.
accept? So very good. I have another word called as data center. That's fantastic. Okay. So now first we will go back, like first of all, what are the different types of companies that we have all around the world? What are the different types of companies? So how you can differentiate that? If at all, if you are an IT person, you can differentiate the companies in two ways. Any number of companies, either it might be agriculture, banking, medicine, or else any companies, you can differentiate them into two types. One is IT company, and the other one is non-IT company. Okay, so IT companies are like what I can say, I can call it as computer manufacturers, server manufacturers, vendors. These are all comes under the IT companies. And application developments or else the companies which will provide the IT services, they are all comes under the IT companies. Now here, if I have to define the IT sector or else if I have to define how many types of companies are there are two types of companies. One is the IT company. So inside this IT company, what we will have, they will provide the IT services for us. Especially the companies will provide the IT services for the end users. Yes or no? So you are working in an IT company, which means you are creating a application. So as a developer, you will create an application. For whom you will create the applications? For the non-IT users only, right? So there is another company called as non-IT company. Okay. So they don't have the developers. For example, take an example called as banking. Okay. Does banking have any this IT things and all? So in banking sector, we don't have all this IT related stuff like creating the application, developing the application, and all the things they won't have. So what they will have, they know only about accounting. They only know about accounts, or else they only know about a little bit of computer knowledge will be there. But if they want to create an application, if this banking sector or else any non-IT company, if they want to create a application, then what they will do? What they will do as an experienced candidates? Tell your answers. Outsourcing, which means that they will come to this, they will reach out to this IT company, or else the IT company marketing team, sales and marketing team, they will reach out to the bank. So we have certain solutions for you. See, anyways, the developer or else anyways the product has to go to the clients. The clients will also come to the product, but majorly the product has to reachable to the clients. Now the IT service company will go to that particular non-IT service company, or else the banking or any another company like medical. See, in the pandemic situation, like what I can say in the especially in this Corona time, which companies are more profitable? Can anybody tell me? Not the IT company. IT companies has the layoffs. So I cannot say that IT companies are more profitable, but the most profitable companies are, I will say them as a companies itself. I won't say it as a services. Any answers for that?
Medical industries.
Exactly. So the medical company, and I will call it as a banking sector also. In banking sectors also, there are so many transactions has been happened, online transactions has been happened. And so these companies relies on the IT services. So of course, the IT service companies or else the banking and medical sector. So if you want to, the medical doctors cannot create the applications. Doctor can resolve the human diseases, or else they can provide the solution for whatever the diseases that are affecting the humans, but they cannot create the software. Obviously, the medical team, excuse me, sorry, the medical company has to rely on the IT sector only for developing their softwares. And as well as the banking sector, if they want any solution, they have to rely on the IT company only. So what IT companies will provide? So IT companies will provide the infrastructure for the non-IT companies, and as well as they will provide the services. Here, what are the types of services they will provide? So the IT companies will provide the applications. These are the services, apps, and as well as databases. Okay, simply I will call it as mobile banking, or simply I will name it as applications, mobile banking, or also you can go with internet banking, or else these are all comes under the applications. And the next one here is databases, but storing the data of the user, they will provide the databases. Only this, they will provide the infrastructure also for the other companies. For the opposite companies, they will provide the infrastructure also, which means where this application has to be deployed. So in general, how many types of stages will be there in the application development? Anybody? What are the different stages will be available in the application development? Dev stage, then testing,
testing,
and then UAT, and then prod.
performance.
I am not prod. Yes or no? These are the 4 stages you will have. Now, development, testing, and UAT. Mostly UAT will also do in the banking premises itself. But development and testing of our applications will be done in our on-premises itself, will be in the companies, IT companies itself. Now, who has to pay for that? Obviously, the non-IT company has to pay for the entire infrastructure. Apart, that's a totally different thing. Now, the point what you need to understand here is we will create an SLA, service level agreement. We will do certain agreements. Either we can have this production servers in our on premises, or else the banking sector or else any non-IT company, they can have the what I can say servers on their on premises. Okay. So now either the servers will be available or else the servers are there in our IT company, or else the servers will be available on the client location also. If you go for the production environment, I'm talking about if I am talking about development and testing, the servers will be obviously in the IT sector only, in our locality itself, on our on premises itself. But when you come to the production environment, that choice will be taken care by the clients. Either the clients can have their servers in our IT premises, or else they can have on their on premises. Now the point what you need to understand here is now if this development or else if this IT company, they can create their servers either on their on premises, or else they can create the same servers on the cloud environment also. When the cloud was came into the picture, they can create the same servers in the cloud. Okay, before that, what they used to do, they used to have their own servers in their own companies. Now, what is the problem if you possess your own servers? Okay, so now what is the problem we will face it here? It's not a problem actually. The point is these servers, let us go back some 15 or some 20, 25 years back, somewhere around 1990s or else 1980s time. At that time also the computers are there, at that time also the servers are there, everything is there. Now the point what you need to understand here is, for example, before virtualization was into the picture, did anybody know about virtualization? What is meant by a virtualization? What is meant by virtualization? Any idea about this?
Creating an environment which is actually not requiring physical devices, but taking the making that environment.
Very good. Okay. Now let me explain you about this configuration. Hold on a second. Okay, right. So now, before virtualization, what is virtualization? I will slowly try to explain you on that. So we used to have the physical servers like this. I hope some people might be seeing these servers, some might not see. So we will have this physical servers. So there are three types of servers. Actually, physical servers will be of three types. One is tower servers, rack servers, and blade servers. Now, if you see here, HP Gen 10 server. HP Gen 10 server. So this is a type of server. If you can see, this is a type of server which will be installed on your on premises. Okay, on your company, or else in your company, you can create these servers, or else you can install these servers. Now the point is inside these servers, before virtualization, I'm talking before virtualization, guys. So in these servers, what is going to happen? We can install an operating system. So in servers, we will install an operating system. Okay. So when we install the operating system, either it might be a Linux operating system or else a Windows operating system. Mostly in the companies, whenever we are going for the web servers, we will install the Linux only. For example, I have installed the Linux operating system. Now I am creating an application, or else you are the developers, you are developing an application in Java. Okay, in Java, you are developing the application. For example, in Java, how many versions or else how many runtime environments are there, or else how many versions of runtime environments are there? So Java 8 is there, and then Java 11 is there, Java 17 is there, Java 18 is there. Like that, we are having right now, we are having multiple versions. Now, for example, in this operating system, if I install Java 8, if I install Java 8 and I created an application in the Spring Boot. Okay, I know that there are so many Java related persons are there. If I created an Spring Boot application, in the Java 8 platform or else on dependencies of Java 8. Now I will run that application in this server. Try to understand. I will run the application in that particular server. Whenever I am running the application on that server, that is working fine. Why? Because all the dependencies are satisfied. Now what happened? I want to create another application. I want to create another application. For example, I got another application development, and that application should be developed on Java 11. Okay, so Java 11, I have to, there is a dependency. So the client asked me to develop the application on Java 11, or else you want to upgrade your version, the software version you want to upgrade it to Java 11. Okay, now when I upgrade that application to Java 11, and previously I am having an application which is running on Java 8. So what happens here? The first thing what you need to understand here is I have a physical server. Try to understand. For a physical server, for any physical server or else any machine, for any computer, what are the primary components? For a computer, what are the primary components?
CPU.
Exactly.
Operating
CPU,
system.
RAM. These two are the primary components. For example, I am having a server of 16 CPU. Normally, we don't purchase small servers. We will go ahead with the high servers. 16 CPU and somewhere around some 256 GB of RAM server is there. For example, for your convenient, I will make like this. So you are having 256 GB of RAM and 16 CPU, 16 core processor you are having. But whatever the app one that you are running on the server is utilizing. So try to understand every time whether the app is going to use maximum resources. For example, if there is for example, you have developed a stock market application. So when there will be huge load on that particular application only at the time of opening of stock market and at the time of closing of stock markets. So between 8:30 to 9:30 and in the evening 3:30 to 4:30. And after that, you won't have the huge load on that particular application. Yes or no? So in the same manner, if this application you have developed and this particular application is having only, it is consuming only 16 GB of RAM, maximum 16 GB of RAM, and some 4-core processor, 4 CPUs it is utilizing, 4 cores it is utilizing. Then my server is of 16 CPU and 256 GB of RAM. What happened here? What about remaining 240 GB of RAM? And what about remaining 12 CPU cores? So if I am running only Java 8 application, can I run the another application with Java 11 on the same server? Is it possible for me to run the application 2 with the upgraded version? Is it possible for me to run on the same server? Come on, Java developers.
Yes.
Yes.
Possible.
Sorry. And I know that some people will say that we have the Java alternatives, but Java alternatives will also help you to run only one application. You can install 2 different Javas in the server, but you can run only a single application at a time. But I want to run the 2 applications at the same time. Is it possible for me?
No.
No, it is not possible for me. But what about my resources? All my resources are into vain. They are wasted. At only peak hours only, it is consuming 16 GB of RAM, and remaining time, my applications or else my application is not using the high RAM. Okay, so which means that my server is not accessible. My server is not up to the mark. So what is the solution for this? The main solution, what exactly the IT industry has found is we can go ahead with a concept called as virtualization. So with the help of this virtualization, what we can do here is, if you can see here, virtualization. We'll come back to the containerization. Right now, it is not necessary for you. Yeah, it might be helpful for us. Or else let me do one thing. Versus physical server. Good. So if you can see this diagram, for the instance, just forget about the containerization. Why? Because we are not discussing about the Docker. So just forget about this part. Okay, let us concentrate on these two parts. Okay, the first one is traditional server architecture. We will have a single server. On the server, we are going to install the Linux machine. On the Linux machine, we are running the Java application. So the entire server is utilized only for the single application, only for the single application. Now, when you come to the virtualized server infrastructure, we will have a single server. On the server, we are going to install the virtualization platform. Like for example, you might heard these words like VMware ESXi or else Citrix. Like these words, you might be heard about this. We have the Citrix Gen servers or else VMware ESXi servers. What they are going to do, they are going to divide our servers into multiple virtual missions, into small virtual missions. So with the help of this virtualization software, I can create a server on the physical server. I can create another logical server. If I have to give an example, you are having a hard disk. So the hard disk size is of 1 TB size. That is your physical hard disk size. So you want to store your system files, C drive, or else you want to store your system files. You can store it in the hard drive. You want to store your personal drives or else personal data. You want to store it on the same hard drive. You want to store some company data. You want to store it on the same hard drive. So now what happens if I combinedly store all the files in a single partition or a single drive? What happens here? You will get a confusion. Now what I want to do, I want to divide my hard disk into multiple partition. For system files, I want C drive. For my company files, I want D drive. For my personal files, I want E drive. Like that, I want to divide my hard disk. Now, if I want to divide the hard disk, we will do the partitioning, right? So are breaking the hard disk physically into small partitions and making them, this is C drive, D drive and E drive, or we are physically dividing that, physically breaking the hard disk? Are we doing that?
No, logically.
No, logically we are dividing the hard disk into, yeah, logically we are dividing the hard disk into small partitions. In the same manner, here also what virtualization will do here is, virtualization will help the guest operating systems. So these are called as guest operating system, guys, Linux or Windows, whatever the operating system. So it is going to divide the physical resources. What are the physical resources? For example, if I am having a server of, let me show you, I am having a server and this server consisting of 16 CPU and 256 GB of RAM. Okay. Let me do one thing. This is my 16 CPU, 256 GB of RAM. Server is there. Now what I can do here is, by installing virtualization inside this server. So virtualization will, or else virtualized software will help us to create or else to divide this particular resources logically into small applications or small servers. Here we can create another virtualized server of somewhere around 4 CPU and 32 GB of RAM. This server is of 4 CPU, 32 GB of RAM. Okay. And I'm going to create another server which is having some another 4 CPU and 32 GB of RAM. Like that, I can create multiple servers. Like that, I can create multiple servers. And in these servers, on one server, I can install an operating system called as Linux operating system. On the Linux operating system, I can install Java and I can create whatever the applications I want. In the another server, I can create Windows operating system. On that, I can install .NET and I can run the .NET application. On the another server, I can install the Red Hat Linux and I can install Python and I can run the Python applications. Now here, what did you understand from this scenario? Can anybody tell me what is happening in the backend, or else what do you understand from the virtualization?
Better utilization of resource.
Exactly. So the better utilization of the resources will be happen. Optimized utilization of resources will be happen. No resources will be wasted. So now this has been a tremendous change in the IT world. It became a tremendous change in the IT world. And most of the companies like Amazon, so it has encouraged the companies like Amazon, okay, Microsoft, Google, Oracle, or Oracle, VMware itself, it has a cloud to develop their own clouds. So whatever the instances that you are seeing here, now I am creating an instance in AWS. If you can see, a server is running in my AWS account. Look at here. A server itself is running in my AWS account. This server is a virtual machine. So this server is a virtual machine. Now how it is going to happen? It is going to collect the physical hardware from the physical server and it is going to run. So like that, whatever the instances that I am creating on my cloud environment, those are all the virtualized machines. Now if you go to the Azure, so here these are called as instances. In AWS, you are calling them as instances. When you go to the Azure, they are called as VMs. Okay. So if you go to the GCP also, they are called as an instances and VMs. And if you go to the virtual machines or else VMware, those are called as VMs. So like that, virtual machines, virtualization has helped the cloud computers or else cloud service providers to create their own virtualization technologies or else to create their own servers depending on the work. So if I purchase a single server, in from that server, I can create multiple virtual machines so that I don't need to worry about creating or else purchasing the different physical servers. Within a single physical server with a high configuration, I can create multiple virtual machines and I can run multiple applications. Okay. So this virtualization has become a tremendous technology in the cloud computing. Now, whatever the cloud that you are watching here or else that you are working, the entire cloud depends on the virtualization technology only. Whatever the servers that you deploy, whatever the databases that you deploy, everything will be on the basis of your virtualization technology only. So this is the base for your entire cloud environment. Okay, do you understand this? Any questions? Is it clear for you? Guys, is it clear for you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Now the next one here is my question for you. What exactly is a cloud? Your perception will be there, right? What is a cloud? If I ask you that question, I know that there are several answers I am going to get. Yes, what is a cloud? Explain cloud, guys. What is cloud?
Big cluster of data center where it is like with the virtualization or means its service is given on basis of requirement and based on the virtualization technique.
Very good. Services will be provided. This is your answer based on virtualization. Any another answer? What is a cloud? It's, yeah, I'll come back to that later. Yeah. Any another answers? What is cloud? Guys, we have no time.
Cloud is a platform which provide the services to you.
Which type of services?
Like you can install your like server database and servers, like virtualization, which we are saying.
You can say it as compute services.
Compute services, right?
Okay, cool. I got another answer in the chat box. Data server provider. Okay, good. Yes. So now, if I have to describe cloud in a simple terminology, okay, if I have to define the cloud in a simple terminology, a cloud is a global network of multiple servers that are interconnected with each other to provide the services for the end users. What I said here? Cloud is an interconnection of multiple server networks. I can simply call it as multiple networks. Okay, all around the world. To provide the IT services for the end customers. End customers, or I can call them as clients. IT services to the end customers. Simply, I can call them as clients. Now, see, I cannot have my cloud in a particular location. For example, if you are having AWS in America only, then what about the users in Australia and India? Then what about the users in China? Or else then what about the users in Japan? So if the entire user load is on a single location, then I cannot call it as a cloud. So I have to distribute my entire cloud into multiple localities. Either in America, I need to have a single data center, or else I need to have a cloud. I will come to the data center part again. And the next one is in what I can say in somewhere in Asia, or else somewhere in northern part of America, southern part of America, and in somewhere around Australia. I need to have multiple type of data centers, multiple type of server localities where I can interconnect every server to each other, so that it's my decision to install my servers in which region I want. For example, I am residing in India. I want my servers to be very closely to me. So if I want the servers very closely to me, I can create my servers in India. I want high availability. I can create my servers in America. Or else I want to make the communication between two servers in two different regions. Then I can make the communication with the help of cloud. So what actually is a cloud is? Cloud is an interconnection of the networks that will provide us the IT services for the end users. IT services are nothing but, especially if into the infrastructure form. If I have to describe that, cloud will provide the servers, cloud will provide the storage, cloud will provide the RDS databases or relational databases, NoSQL type of databases. It can provide us VPNs, it can provide us transit gateways. So cloud will provide the load balancers. These are all comes under the IT services itself. So cloud will provide not only, so we are into IT, so somebody are into machine learning. AWS will provide machine learning. AWS will be into artificial intelligence. AWS is into data analytics. AWS is into big data, or what I can say, data warehouse technology. Okay, like Redshift. So as an infrastructure, or else as a development teams, we can understand only a particular set of AWS only. But apart from this, AWS has been expanding its wings towards the artificial intelligence also. So a cloud will provide each and everything for the end users, each and every IT services for the end users. So that is called as a cloud. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the cloud, I am saying that it's an interconnection of multiple servers across the world. So whether we will have a single server? No. Inside the cloud, what we are going to have, especially when we are discussing about AWS. So when we are going with the AWS, first of all, you need to understand when was AWS first introduced into the IT world. Can anybody tell me what is the establishment year of AWS? Who is the founder of AWS? Amazon, or I won't ask AWS. I will ask you who is the founder of Amazon and when AWS was introduced. Yes, guys, attending to AWS class without knowing this is a possible
Amazon founder is Joseph, I think. I don't know the exact name, but Joseph something kind of name.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think in 2001, AWS introduced.
Amazon was introduced in 2001. In 2006, AWS was introduced.
Yes, okay, yeah, 2001, okay.
Okay. Now, what is the competitor of AWS? At least.
Right now, Azure.
Yes. When was it introduced? It is not required for you, but anyways, at least these are the basic things you need to understand. You need to know. Yeah. Who is the founder and when was it established? Come on, Google it, guys. You have the internet, you have the phones in your hands, you can Google it, right? Azure was founded in the year 2010 by Satya Nadella. Okay, that's it. So when coming back to this, yeah, AWS. In AWS, or else in especially what is the primary uh, server storage locations where servers are going to be created. So actually, I have to discuss about the geographic locations of AWS, but I will come back to that later. First of all, you need to understand what is a data center. Somebody is continuously saying about the data center. So what exactly is a data center? So a data center is a physical entity. Okay, data center is a physical entity in a particular locality. Either you can call it as Hyderabad, or else you can call it as Bangalore, or else you can call it as Chennai, or else you can call it as Delhi, or else Mumbai, anywhere. A data center is a physical locality where you will have some thousands of servers, thousands of physical servers will be there. So how exactly the data center will be looking like? If I have to draw a diagram for the data center, for example, if you think this is the data center, I will show you in a pictorial manner also. Khalid, wipe it off. Okay. So if you think this is the data center, inside the data center, you will have the racks. Okay. So you will have the data center or else racks. Inside this racks, what you will have here is you can mount the servers. You can mount the networking devices like firewalls, routers, switches, servers like rack servers, tower servers, and blade servers. Like that, you can mount anything. Okay, like that, you will have multiple racks. So inside the racks, what you will have here is, for example, you will have the what I can say networking devices like routers, switches, or else you can have the servers, and each server will be interconnected with each other. Now, this is how and inside the servers, again, what you will have, for example, if you think this is a server, inside the physical server, again, you will have the application or else virtual machines. Inside the virtual machines, again, you will have the applications. Okay. Now, if you see a data center, it is not a small entity. Let me show you this. Where is this? Yeah. It's a very big entity. So you can see here very clearly. Look at this. So if you can see this data center, look at the lorries and trucks and whatever the water dispensers are there, or else water trucks are there. If you can see here, they are looking like a toys, which means that it can clearly state that a data center is a very big entity. Inside this data center, we will have some thousands and thousands of servers will be there. Physical servers, not the virtual servers. Again, those physical servers are divided into multiple virtual servers. We'll come back to that later. So now inside this is a data center. Now, if you can see, these are all the coolants, whatever you are seeing here, these are all the coolants and the generators to continuously provide the power for the servers. Now, if you want to create a data center in a locality, there are certain considerations which you have to take into the picture. Okay, so what are those? There are certain factors. So in any land, you cannot create a data center. First of all, what you need to check here is when you want to create a data center, or else if a data center has to be created, first thing what you need to understand, or first thing what the data center authority has to check here is climatic conditions and what I can say, natural calamity zone or not. So is there any natural calamities like earthquakes, or else is there any cyclones are continuously hitting the particular location, or else is there any earthquakes? How many years it took for the earthquakes that has to be happened? So that will be taken into the picture. So why? Because if it is an earthquake prone zone or else prone zone, then what it will be happen. For example, today I have installed the data center. The next month, if the earthquake is happened, then the entire some billions and trillions of money will be wasted. So I cannot create that in that such area. First of all, I need to check out the climatic conditions. The second one is when you want to create a data center, the data center should be very near to two substations. So one will be the primary substation, power substations. I'm talking about the electricity. Two primary substations will be there. One will be the primary substation and the other one is the backup substation that continuously providing the power to your data center. Why? Because see, if I have some 10 computers, for 10 computers only, I want to have a huge power supply. If I am having some thousands and lakhs of servers are there inside the data center, then it is not sufficient for me to carry out, to rely on the government given power. So I need to generate my own power, or else I need to have a substation near to my data center. Continuous power supply should be there. And the second one is the data center should be created in such a area which is very near to the rivers, water bodies. So the data center should be very near to the water bodies. If that happens, if there is any fire accident, anything happens, then it is very easy for us to drain out the fire. Okay. So if it is not near to the water bodies, then that will be another problem for us. And the next one here is internet connectivity. Definitely you need to have 2 or 3 internet connectivities. One will be the primary high-speed internet connectivity. Bandwidth should be enormous bandwidth. Why? Because see, for the whatever the servers that are created inside the data center, the users will not sit besides the servers. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? So the users will not sit beside the servers. From the different localities, from the different regions, from the different countries, the users will be accessing the servers. So if thousands and lakhs of users are accessing the servers, I cannot have a normal shared bandwidth data center. I cannot have that. So normally whatever the internet that we are using in the home, that is a shared bandwidth. So they will say that you will get 1 Gbps of speed, but when you calculate, you will get only some 200 or 300 Mbps of speed only. So which means it's a shared bandwidth. So I need to have a leased line connectivity, and I need to have minimum 2 server backup, 2 internet backup should be there. And the next one is it should be low in crime rate. Okay, so whatever the locality that you are taking, that should be low in crime rate, and as well as you need to have all ways of transportation. One is airways, waterways, or else at least it should be very near to the transportation area, the data center, whichever you are creating. That means you cannot create a data center in the middle of the city. Eventually you have to create in the outskirts of the city only, but it should be very near to the transportation. Why? Because if there is any problem with the servers, if there is, I want a particular physical device, then I cannot go ahead for 100 kilometers to borrow that or else to get that particular device. So it should be very near to the transportation facility also we need to check. So these are all the criterias that are used to create a data center. If someone has to create a data center, then the data center planning management will check for all these conditions. If everything is satisfied, then only they are going to establish their data center in a particular locality. Okay, so inside the data center, you will have some thousands and thousands of physical servers in multiple forms. Okay, the servers, depending on the size and shape of the servers are divided into 3 types. One is tower server, rack server, and blade server. See, we are watching TV. So if you want to watch a TV, it might be small, depending on your the size and shape, it is going to be changed. One we will be calling it as a normal portable TV, LCD TV, and plasma TV. So depending on the material that we are using, or else curved smart TVs. Now we are getting curved smart TVs also. So in the same manner, depending on the form factor, how the shape and size of the servers, we are dividing the servers into 3 types. One is tower server, rack server, and blade server. Okay, so if I have to show you those, hold on. This image will cover everything. Sorry. Here you can see what he is doing here is he is inserting a blade. Now here you can see this is how the racks will be there inside a data center. It's a small data center. Now if I have to describe about a very big data center, this type of racks will be there all across the entire data center. Here you can see these are the racks. In the racks you can see what I can say, screw fitted servers are there. These are the rack servers. Okay, rack mounted servers. So if you can see, these are the rack servers, and this is a blade server. Whatever he is inserting, it is called as a blade, and this is a chassis. Whatever you can see here, there is an square unit, aluminum square unit. This is called as a chassis. Inside the chassis, there he is planting, or else he is implanting the blades. And here you can see this. There is a tower server. This is as it is looking like our desktop. So, but it is a tower server. Okay. And here you can see we are having the switches and networking cables. These are also in the server. So which I want to conclude here is, in a data center, you can have the different types of servers, and as well as you will have the networking devices also. So this is how the cabling will be done, and these are the servers. And here you can see this is called as a SAN storage. Here you can see these are the what I can call them as a hard disk base. So here you can see there is a handle, no? So you can open that bay and you can insert the hard disk into that. So this is entirely called as a sandbox. So the storage units will be there inside the sandbox. Okay, so this is a blade server. So inside this server, so the capacity will be like, see here, it's a 4 or else 1, 2, 3, and somewhere around 8 units. So total 16 units blade server it is. So each blade will be again having 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM. So this blade will have some 2 CPU, 4 GB, little amount of RAMs will be there. Okay, that is how a blade server will be created. And this is your rack server. So which is of some 256 GB of RAM, or else 512 GB, 1 TB, or else 2 TB terabyte size of RAMs. I'm talking about the RAMs, not about the hard disk. So inside the servers, you will have huge RAMs, and you can consolidate all the RAM into it, or else you can make this server into multiple virtual machines. And so this is how your data center will be looking ahead. This is how the rack will be, and these are the different types of. Understand the concept? Any questions here? Is it clear? Guys,
Yes.
are you sure about that?
Yes.
I cannot hear a loud S. 1 or 2 are saying yes. Okay,
Yes.
good,
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yes, got it.
Okay, so that's how your data center will be looking like. And tomorrow's class, we will be discussing about the geographical locations of AWS, especially, and then regions, availability zones, edge locations, and then we will be diving into the networking concept. Guys, I know that it might sound a little bit weird, but the point is, please try to learn binary to decimal conversions. I know that you are very, very seniors, but but the point which I want to say you here is, please try to learn this binary to understand the IP address. If at all, if you understand the IP address, that's well and good. If you don't understand the IP addresses, or else if you don't know about the IP addressing concept, I request you to learn about the binary to decimal conversions, so that it will be very easy whenever we go into the topic. Hi sir, before AWS, we want to learn any course? No, no dependencies are there. You need to have a basic Linux knowledge. If you have that, that's more than enough to learn AWS. Okay. What is the type difference between these server types? Mean any storage type? No, the servers are different depending on the size and shape. I will come to that. So if you see here, this is, so depending on the, like, see, I cannot create multiple tower servers. I cannot use the multiple tower servers. Sometimes the tower servers will be slower. And depending on the fastness and depending on the requirement, if you want to run multiple applications, you can go ahead with the blade servers. And if you want multiple virtual machines to be created, you can go with the rack servers or tower servers. Depending on your requirement, you have to choose the servers. So the servers are differentiated only because of their so like, see why we need to divide this, because see here, if you go ahead into the rack servers are tightly coupled, so the heat generation will be very high. So if you go to the tower servers, they are differently there, so the heat will be less generated, but compared to the speed will be high in the rack servers. So depends like this. So depend on your requirement, you have to select whether you can go with the tower or rack or blade. Okay. So that's about your servers. And when I come back to this, yes, it is suitable for you. So it might be, you might be having a career gap, but that doesn't stop you to learn this cloud. I am not saying you because you have to join the session, but I am saying you that once you have learned the cloud and go into the DevOps concept, that doesn't matter. If you have the career gap also, you can fill it out. You can easily get a job. Okay. But you need to put some hard work on this. Right. Any further questions? And I have said you the timings. The timings will be 9 to 10 every day. And the fees will be 5,000 rupees. Please don't ask any concessions, guys. It is bare minimum fees for your AWS. I don't know outside what is the fees. Okay. So, and what are the topics they are saying? I cannot say that. But whatever the topics that I am covering, I can surely say that every topic won't be covered by the outsiders. Okay, so that's the fees and that's the timings, and every day you will get the videos and the document will be provided to you. Okay, that's it from my end. So I hope you are very clear with what I said. Tomorrow we will discuss, we'll join into the same 9 o'clock. Tomorrow will be the last and final demo. I don't cover binary to decimal, but if you have a knowledge on that, that will be good for us to understand the IP address. Okay. Fine. My contact, I will provide you definitely. Okay, in the last tomorrow's session. Okay, how many like see, it's not an again coming back to this, it's not a promotional thing and all the things. How many are you from exactly Telugu background? So I know that there are several people who are attending here are from UK, US, and there are the working professionals. There are somebody from somewhere around northern India. So I know that's why I said if you want to have a basic understanding, especially in Telugu, I have created a playlist for you. I have a small YouTube channel. If you are really interested to uh, learn something basic things like Linux and all the parts, I have here. Let me show you this. It's a basic channel which I have right now. This is a channel. Here you can see I have my playlist like AWS. So basics of AWS I have given. That's totally in Telugu. Okay, AWS playlist is there, Docker playlist is there, Linux basic playlist is there. Just go through that once or twice, you will clearly understand. And I have the Kubernetes playlist also. It might be helpful for you. Okay, so that is what I want to tell you, so that it might be helpful for you if you go ahead into that particular concept. But problem here is that is in Telugu. Okay, if you can understand that language, you can go through that videos. It will be helpful, really helpful for you. Okay. I don't want to do the promotion here, but yes, go ahead into that. You will understand. So that's all from my end, guys. Tomorrow we will discuss about, no issues. We can convert it into English PDF through ChatGPT. That's fantastic. If you are ready to use the AI tools, that's good. Okay. So have a nice day. We'll meet in the next session. Bye, guys.